for the thing and then after.
You're mad you're going to keep it positive without bullshit stuff.
No, here right now, I'm saying.
We're going to be talking hardcore, man.
For this video. No, after we go in, innit?
I'll make sure I expose all the chocolate Muslims that speak this corner.
We happen to go live.
90% of the Muslims are chocolate
Is Go Live a real Muslim?
Go Live, I think Go Live at least has the balls to say how he feels it is, man. So I've got to give him props for that.
There's no diluting the deen of
Whether he's a real Muslim, I can't really say. That's not for me to say.
Content over everything.
All right. So shall we get started? All right, stand back. This is a weird space, man. This is a weird space. All right, so.
I take the piss out of people, but I don't take the piss out of your family.
Yeah.
That's the next thing, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. So, are we started?
You man live already?
All right. So this is the greatest new series.
North Indian, innit?
Hold on.
North Indian, innit?
We're continuing the greatest series ever to come onto Speaker's Corner. It's Raj and Big Ardz, or Big Ardz and Raj, because he's going to want to twist it about.
Now, whichever way it sounds nice.
Yeah, Raj and Big Ardz, and it's about Indian history, pre-Islam and pre-Sikhism. So obviously, we don't want to talk about that era, because obviously I start frothing at the mouth and going crazy when I hear about the Islamic conquest. So what we're going to do today, last week we spoke about Alexander the Great, and about, King Boris. We're going to carry on today with probably our most contentious issue, one of our most contentious ones, because I think if we get this out of the way, it will kind of answer in the future how certain people see themselves as. Look what he's doing. He's doing a Jedi. He's doing some Jedi move on me. So what it is, so what we're going to talk about today is the Aryan invasion theory. Now, for people that don't know, there's a theory that the people of North India and South India are two separate races of people.
Yeah. Or you can say genetics are different.
Yeah, genetics are different. So I will agree with one thing, because I think our stances are different. I do agree that people from the South are from a Dravidian background, and their phenotypes and the race, they're before we go to race, they're an Australized race in terms of their skeleton, and the people from the North are more Caucasian.
When you say Australized, can you elaborate on that word?
So you have four types of, I don't want to talk about race, but you have the Negroid, you have the Mongoloid, which are the Chinese, you have the Caucasians or Caucasides, and then you have the Australoid, which is people from like Papua New Guinea, Australia, and stuff like that. So you can see they've got similar phenotypes.
Yes,
so what it is that we do have a difference in opinion. Although we're both Punjabi from the north, we can agree that the people from the north do look different from the people from the south. We can agree that.
That's 100%. Yeah.
That's 100%. If you just look at it. Yeah. But one of the things that I heard Osama say last week, I don't know if you agree with it, is that he believes that only 2% of India, the Punjab region, is still genetically related to people from the Pakistan era, where you go all the way up to the Afghanistan and area like that. Yeah. And do you agree with that? Only 2%, or do you think it's more than that?
Okay, I don't know about the actual percentage, but what I will say is not more than 50%. I wouldn't say it's more than 50%.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
I'll elaborate on that a bit more, because if you look at historically, the part where modern day Pakistan is, and Kashmir and Afghanistan, it's always been prone to foreigners invading that land.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but that's not the.
So can we, before we go on, we're going to have a Beyond Atheism come in. And Beyond Atheism is obviously me and you are like the lay people.
The big man is
hold
here,
on. Before we go on, me and Ardz are not experts. So stop bitching and whining. If we say something wrong, tell us and stop bitching and whining in the comments. Because we are not here as the experts. We are learning at the same time. So we are going to bring people in that know a bit more. And obviously Beyond Atheism knows a bit more about the genetics. And so you can finish up what you was going to say and then go on.
Where are you from?
My family is from Gujarat.
Gujarat. So that's from India, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can only really relay any information to me about India, innit?
Nah.
Well, okay. So what are you going to relay to me about Pakistan?
Well, my family is from Gujarat, but people in the northern region of South Asia, they've been moving around for quite a long time. So even in Gujarat, you have genetics which is from quite in the north, like in Punjab or even Kashmir, Afghanistan, and the actual DNA of even Gujarat has got a lot of influence, because Gujarat is on the coast. So in the ancient times of the Indus Valley civilization and the Vedic literature, they actually mentioned Gujarat as part of the northern region because you got the rivers there, like Narmada, it's quite a famous river, it's part of the seven rivers.
Right.
So obviously they can just take a boat and go across. So it is closely related.
So it's connected.
It's connected, yeah.
Can I add on to that? Yeah. If you're talking about specifically just Gujarat and not the rest of India, like he was trying to mention, like all of India and Gujarat, because he wasn't just specifically like talking about Gujarat. If you're talking about just Gujarat here, I could concur with you and say that yes, the people from Gujarat are more genetically like me and Raj and the people from Pakistan than you are from the Dravidians, right? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, but we shouldn't make a strong distinction because I think it's more like gradual rather than...
Let me ask you a question, let me change that question. From the part of Gujarat where you reside, where your parents reside from, where you're originally from, like if you was to stand a Dravidian person next to the native Gujarati person, can you not tell the difference?
Well, I think
you can.
Let him answer.
I think the issue with what you're saying is that you're saying that there's a Dravidian person and a North Indian person, but that's like but people are actually in between. Do you get what I'm saying?
So are you saying they're interbred, like mixed with each other? Is that what you're saying?
It's not that they're mixed. It's that let's say you got these people that lived there, they were all the same, right? Let's say a long time ago they were all the same. But some people kind of changed, like, do you know what I mean? Like naturally evolved or changed.
Naturally evolved.
Like changed. Do you know what I'm saying? People obviously can change their. It's not like you can't be. It's not if you're different. It's not because of mixing. It could just be that you are separated for 1,000 years, and people in the south they maybe stayed like maybe they got darker. Maybe people in the north they got lighter, and maybe some.
How come the white people in the Americas and Australia and all that, they haven't turned darker? They've been there for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but people can change, right, over time.
No,
the
I'm
phenotypes can
questioning
change.
the theory that you just talked about, that people will change naturally just because they live next to someone like that without interbreeding. I'd love to know how. Like, so why haven't the white people become brown?
Well, there will be certain environmental, factors. I don't know why someone gets lighter or
They've been there
darker.
for hundreds of years. So like you said, like if humans live in a certain condition for hundreds of years, they're going to start to evolve. So the white people don't show.
You're trying to debunk evolution.
It's getting into a different. It's getting into a
history.
Yeah, no. Let's get back to.
Let me get back to that.
All right, so let me just clarify.
You want to give your thing?
So let me. I'm not going to give mine because I don't really have a theory. I just have different ideas that I've heard, and I don't really know which one's true.
Yeah, but let's not go into evolution.
So what?
Sorry, I got carried away.
So obviously India at one point, the idea of an India and a Pakistan only came about 70 years ago. No, you have to understand.
All right.
There was no country called Pakistan. Hold on.
So when you say that, give the disclaimer too that there was no such thing as India before the British.
Yeah, no, you
say that too.
It's Ardz. God's sake.
But to Raj, I want to make a point here.
You got triggered so much, you wouldn't let me
I don't like it because a lot of people say you're Indian.
But Raj, I want to make a point here.
No, let me just clarify something. There was no such thing as India. There was lots of kingdoms and different states that after the British come in, they classified it.
You're pushing me at the COE team, bro.
You're mad. I need to go on that side.
Because then you're on the bad side. Get him on the bad side today. He hates to be filmed from that side.
Yeah, I know. I like this side of my plug. So what it is, that you have like what you call India was never really a country. There was lots of different disparate states here, and it was only after the British coming that they unified it as what you call a country called India. But the idea that, because one of the things that obviously you don't agree with, but some Pakistanis, like Osama was saying last week, that the people from Pakistan are a distinct race. And now what we're going to go on to is the Aryan invasion theory, because that's what he's talking about. There's a theory that the people of the north used to be the Dravidians. It's the British theory for one. I think it was a German.
White man's
theory.
A
white man's theory. So the theory was this, that the people of the north were originally Dravidians, and they created the Indus Valley civilization. Okay. A nomadic people called the Aryans, and when I say Aryans, don't get the misunderstanding about blonde hair, blue eyes. The Aryans that they're talking about are more Middle Eastern, maybe someone like an Iranian. Yeah, that kind of complexion and that kind of phenotype. So Aryan doesn't mean that in the way we're talking about it. And those people from the Caucasus are said to have come down. Come down, and they pushed out the Dravidians and pushed them downwards and conquered that land and pushed them down. That's the theory of the Aryan invasion.
Right. So what, you don't believe in that?
I think it's a bit of a mix of everything. I think it's more of a kind of migration theory. Okay. So invasion theory is like they come in and they conquered. One thing that you're going to agree with me, when you look at the Indus Valley civilization, it had no weapons.
Who told you that?
you go into, they found
There's Stone Age weapons
all right, so
made of
hold on, let me say
stone.
this. There was no real.
Weapons.
Can I say that there was no real military in terms of the
Yeah,
Indus
they
Valley
weren't.
Civilization.
But that's because it was peaceful.
Oh no,
innit?
no. So
That's because
so
it was,
they said it was
Let me
peaceful,
just
but
add into that.
but let
Maybe
me
that's because they haven't found it. It didn't survive.
Oh, no,
properly, it
yeah,
didn't
you're right.
survive.
That could be true. But one of the things is, just for argument's sake, if it's not been found or it wasn't there, could you imagine the Punjabi race not having no weapons?
Yes, I can.
I can't imagine it.
I can imagine it because let me tell you why. In times of when there's no conflict, our people they don't need.
But for
weapons.
3 or 4,000 years.
Sorry?
For 3,000 years.
At that time of civilizations, you know, the man, like if you look at the theory that they tell us, the way we came out of Africa.
The thing is, yeah.
Come on, man, you cutting me
Oh,
off.
sorry,
too much today.
bro. Sorry.
Yeah, so like when we came out of Africa and stuff here, and we inhabited India, the way they tell us, right? We weren't really adept at making armies and all this kind of stuff at that time, right? We would agree, innit? We would, like the idea of modern day army, kind of like such a big army, you know, standing army is not going to be.
No, but
the
this
same.
is from, this is from
You're going too far back.
Yeah.
This is 3,500 years ago we're talking about. Not at that time.
Well,
if you look at the
Dravidians have been there for longer than
but
that.
if you look at the Indus Valley civilization, they had drainage. They had structured houses.
But Raj, look,
they had
if they have
so
no-
what I'm saying, these people were not what you call kind of backward savages. They had a very, very, very kind of highly advanced civilization.
It was the most advanced in the world.
One of the most advanced at the time, yeah. They had sewage,
most.
yeah, running sewage. So these people,
Where is it again?
it's some of it's in Pakistan, some of it's India. It's quite a lot of it. Yeah.
Where in India is it?
It's more towards the north. It's next to the.
What do you call it?
rivers,
Name the cities.
Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro,
Where's Harappa? Where's
Lothal.
Mohenjo-daro?
They're both in
Pakistan.
Pakistan. aren't they?
I thought so.
Yeah, where's Lothal? Gujarat, yeah?
Sorry?
Lothal, where's
Yeah,
that?
you got one.
Yeah, we got
So
a big one though.
You got about 4 or
what
5
I'm saying is that this civilization had no hierarchy, and it had no real kind of central government or anything.
Is that what you believe?
But that's what they, when they look
That's
at
what
the
they found, yeah.
architecture, that they didn't find anything that kind of resembled what you might consider a central kind of government or a kind of weapons
Let
or
this
kind of
guy give
military.
his take, 'cause I'm
But
trying to give my take.
what I'm trying to say is that one of the reasons why I think it might be Dravidians, because Dravidians are much more passive people. And I can't imagine Punjabis 3,500 years
They're
ago.
passive. Go tell that to some of my Tamil friends.
Yeah, well, they go crazy sometimes, but overall they
Tamils
quite
don't mess around, bro. So you're telling me Dravidians are his people are that. And I'll tell him to his face, your people are that, not the Tamils.
Gujarati.
No, but
They're
you know my
pushovers,
tribe,
not the
yeah?
Tamils.
But bro,
Yeah,
listen, let me tell you.
I hold my hands up to it.
He doesn't know what he's talking about, it's alright.
The Gujarati people, I hold my hand up to it. Yeah, no problem. I'm not telling it to your face, bro. The 90%, hey, listen, 90% of the Gujaratis, the physically and
Shots fired.
Stop cutting me up, man.
Oh, no,
Physically
sorry,
and the demeanor and the way they behave is not like
Yeah, I do agree.
confrontational.
I do agree
At
with
all.
that.
Them man are not confrontational.
Yeah, I do agree.
You know what it is, in Gujarat.
Are you confrontational?
In
Like, be
Gujarat,
honest,
yeah,
you're not, are you?
my group is very confrontational.
I've never
yeah.
seen Gujaratis that confrontational in my
But you know
life.
why? Because not all Gujaratis are the same. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Gujarat there's different tribes. In
Is
Gujarat,
there Pakistani
There's
Gujarati?
many
They're not
different
Indian
different
Gujarati,
tribes in Gujarat.
No, but I do agree with Ardz that
but there's only Indian Gujarati people. One thing that Gujarat is only in India, but yeah, they are Muslims and Indians and all that.
Now, can I say what he's trying to say here is that the temperament of the Gujaratis.
them man are very timid,
I've
like,
met
you know what I
I've met Hindu Gujaratis, Muslim Gujaratis,
You might be
Catholic,
an anomaly,
Indi-
but majority
but
of
all
the
of them
brothers
have
are
something
timid,
very
bro.
similar in common. They're normally very passive, kind of polite people.
Not Baruchis, bro.
But what I'm
Baruchis are not
saying,
like that.
what I'm saying, I didn't say Balochis. So what I'm
Hold on, he's on Baruchi. Ask him about Baruchis, bro. How are they?
Baruchi's up in your hardcore.
That's it.
So all
I'm
he said-
Baruchi,
all-
bro. We're hardcore, bro.
Number one,
Man never seen no hardcore Gujaratis anyway. I mean, I tell you my
There's not
life
many of us,
experience,
bro. But trust me,
Yeah,
like.
so anyway, but generally, so
Modi's
even now,
Gujarati.
listen,
Modi's a Gujarati.
you name, you know what you done? You name one community. No, G, you name one community out of your whole community that is hardcore, yeah? So whereas in our community, I can name you all of them are hardcore. You understand what I'm saying? That's the difference we're trying to say.
Yeah, but it's no competition about who's hardcore.
No. This is relevant. This is relevant
because of
to
the
what you're talking
civilization.
about.
So what we're saying, the
Relevant.
civilization, the Indus Valley civilization, they had
Because
no
when it
real
comes to war,
hierarchy or
when it
no
comes to
warlike.
war, you've only got that one group, yeah, the ones that is willing to fight. The rest of your group is not really willing to fight. They're gonna submit easier. You understand what I'm trying to say? That's what we're talking. That's why we're
So do you?
He's not dissing you and saying
Yeah,
you're
he's not
harder.
dissing.
We're not taking the
He's
piss.
just saying the
It is a
temperament.
bit of banter. Yeah, we're doing it for a little bit of laugh.
Yeah, but I'd like to say to the
But
point,
it is relevant to the
Big
point.
up the Punjabis.
It's relevant to the point. But you know it's relevant to the point because what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say,
yeah, I agree,
when
I
we talk
agree.
about the invasion
Okay,
and
look,
how the people got pushed
the
down
thing
south,
is, yeah, like it's hard, yeah. If you're trying to say that people, because they're more passive, that they didn't have weapons and stuff. The thing is, yeah, like this civilization, okay, it had a lot of prosperity and a lot of political kind of associations.
But I don't know
things.
what your problem is.
So
Hold on,
that's
hold on,
fine.
Let me say something. We are not dissing.
I don't know what his problem is.
We're actually saying it's a positive that
What
you.
I was trying to
you
say
made-
is you're part of our people.
Who's
This is what
Mohammed
I'm trying to
Jinnah?
say. I'm trying to say that Gujarat.
Have you heard of Mohammed Jinnah?
That's the
Let's
Pakistani.
not divert.
Can we keep
Let's stay on the
Yeah,
subject.
let's not divert
This
to Gujarat,
is
yeah.
what Big Ardz is saying, yeah? Gujarat, I'm including Gujarat, Punjab, all of it in its entirety, Kashmir, bits of Afghanistan, Balochistan, Sindh, yeah? All of that, yeah, is different to the rest of India.
Yeah, sort of,
So
yeah.
stop fighting me on that.
Now I
Let's
agree.
talk about that.
Let's agree on
To add
that.
to your point, yeah, the actual region that you mentioned, okay, is in the Indus Valley civilization is that region, and the Vedic civilization literature is that region as well.
Exactly.
So it's actually, we know that it's quite similar, and that's what the northern region is. But what happened is that people moved from there to like other parts of India.
But would you agree that your people and even my people, we're more prone to the invasions that happen, the migrations that happen, and intermixing between
Yeah,
other,
I mean,
other
that's
people from
obvious.
Central Asia?
Yeah.
Not so much because
So
it's
why
very,
do we look so different to the other people then?
the reason
If it's not so much.
The reason, okay, is if you actually look at the outside. If you
It's nothing to do with Oppo, man.
if you actually look at
You man are Bengali, bro, and come on, we look different.
Climate. I'm saying the difference is because of the climate.
yeah, people can look different.
No. But you have to understand.
If you actually
Hold on,
look
hold
at,
It's not.
Bro, look,
hold on, hold on.
let me say something. Yeah? If you actually look at the DNA of the Pakistanis and stuff, there's not a lot of foreign influence that can be detected.
Can I
For
break that down?
instance,
Because you're starting to talk about Pakistan now, innit?
Or no,
No,
reason.
no,
What can I say, man?
Don't say
Let me break it down.
Pakistan.
So hear this, yeah. Hear
This
this,
is
yeah.
this is when he starts
The
losing
reason
it.
why
a bit.
the reason why I kind of get touchy about it because the majority of the North Indian population and the area that we're talking about is in present-day Pakistan, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let me
big
try and
chunk.
address the big areas, innit? So Kashmir is totally connected to Afghanistan and the Punjab. Yes?
Yeah.
Which has been conquered and people have moved through and
We
migrated
should really
through.
have a map next
Yeah,
time.
people have moved through and migrated through for hundreds and if not thousands of years, right? On top of that, those people have never like settled in one place. They've always moved around, yeah? Whereas the Dravidians I'm talking about genetically do not have anything in common with them people. We look totally different to them.
And they have a different language as well.
The different
we
languages.
have an Indo-European
Yeah, so let me carry on now.
Yes.
So let me carry on, brother. Let me carry on. So that's just the Kashmir part, yeah? Then Punjab, we know Punjab, that connects to Kashmir, and that's the same kind of thing.
Let me ask you a question, yeah?
1 second, brother. You do
Yes,
it the whole
carry
time.
on.
Yeah, so that's that, yeah? And then when we go to the other side of Pakistan, where we've got Balochistan, we know that traditionally Balochistan is part of Greater Iran, Persia. You
This is
understand?
pretty dark though, isn't it?
Yeah, but let me finish. What's wrong with you, bro, fam? Like, you want to be involved, the brother, he has no decorum.
He's a good guy. Come on, let's
But he
talk.
keeps cutting, man, bro. I'm trying to give
I'm
some.
making a little point, man.
But listen, I'm trying to talk
Let
about
me
the
just say,
Pakistan
let me
bit,
just
innit? When I'm done, you can say your shit, innit? Yeah? So Balochistan has always been like kind of part of historically Persia, yeah, Greater Iran, Persia. So the people from that part of the world in Pakistan are nothing to do with Indians. Yeah, they're more Persians, which are totally different genetically to Dravidians and even Punjabis and stuff like that, right? We're even totally, not totally, but we're a bit different to them as well. So then we go.
Sorry. Sophia, come.
What's wrong with you, man?
No, because she's getting surrounded and stuff. So
Oh, that's a man, bro. He can handle himself.
no.
Listen, that man can handle himself, bro. You get me? Listen, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
make sure
carry
she's
on.
alright.
Yeah.
Let me carry on. You man, fuck up the team, bro. What's wrong with you, man?
I am
Let me
a
carry on to the.
protector.
I've
Let's
got
talk,
one more
let's
place to talk about.
Yeah.
So then you go to the Sindh. Yeah, Sindh has historically been always different to the rest of India. Because Sindh is isolated, as you can see, where Karachi and all of that is. If we had a map like it would have been good, it's next to the Arabian Sea, right? And it's right next to Balochistan. And then you will have to traverse through Punjab and then into Gujarat to get to the rest of India. So those people genetically are totally different and their language type is totally different too. So now you carry on and you can talk as much as you want. You understand? Stop cutting me, bro. Go on, talk.
Okay, before you go on,
I'm not gonna talk
can you try and touch upon the DNA, because obviously you got A and I,
Yeah.
with the ancestral North
And
Indian.
before he
and
carries on, 1 second, before these lot carry on, just to put them to shame and prove my claims, if you lot donate enough money on COE's thing, yeah, I'm willing to get a DNA test. Let's everyone get a DNA test. Yeah, and then I'll prove my point in it, and I'll show you lot what I want.
It's only £100, but we don't need
So
to.
just
Yeah, but I ain't paying for that bullshit,
I'm not paying that bullshit. Oh no!
You've already paid for it. What are you talking about?
So you have the
You know why I
ASI.
said that? Because you guys, everyone uses it, so I said, yeah, I use it for you.
ASI and the A and I, obviously the North Indian DNA. Can you go into that, because you're more of a? Because everybody, don't take the wrong way here. I know it's gonna hurt you. I believe all of us from India, the North India. No, I'm not the same. But we have a percentage of DNA that is from South
Okay,
India.
but I'm not saying that. I'm saying to you, I'm saying we might have a percentage. Listen, the reason why I say we might have a percentage, because obviously we've been living in that part of the world for hundreds of years, thousands of years. So I'm sure, like maybe one of my great ancestors must have married into one of those tribes and stuff like that. So I'm bound to have maybe a percentage or two of that DNA. But the majority of my DNA is going to comprise of Central Asian and Persian DNA and Turkic tribes.
I agree.
That's you
ain't
saying
got no
that.
Turkish
But
DNA.
I'm willing to take
Bro,
a DNA
I
test and prove
got
that
my
that
DNA
is
test
not
done,
that.
bro.
Yeah, so
Get out of the park, man.
I agree
Pick
with
him
you.
out,
I
man.
agree with you, yeah.
Man, fuck that
But
shit, man.
It depends.
Man, fuck that
but the thing is,
shit.
some people think it. Some people are saying that
There's no Turkish DNA in Pakistan. There's no Turkish.
So
What did he say? What did he say?
There's no,
How are you saying there's no Turkish DNA? Who were the Mughals? Who were the Mughals?
from the Osman tribe.
bro, you
What
show
were
me
the
one
Mughals?
person, yeah, or DNA test who's got Turkish DNA in
Were
Pakistan.
Mughals not Turkic tribes?
You show me.
I'm asking
it'll
you
come
that.
out of
Bro,
Central Asia.
You show me, bro. You show
Even
me.
1%.
You show me.
It will come out of
1%
Central
is
Asia.
nothing,
It will-
bro.
But that's
Come
what
on,
I think I would have about the Dravidians. In my
It's got-
body, I probably have 1%, and
it'll-
that's nothing.
it'll
So
come
that-
out of
that-
Central
Are you
Asia,
backing up my
wouldn't
claim?
You got 30%.
hold on, if it was
No,
Turkey,
no way. No way.
If it was Turkey,
ASI.
Look at me and you, bro. We're totally different already. So how far am I from them?
No, we're not from them.
Far away from them, bro.
But
Look, everyone put the camera on him and me, yeah? And the brother try to say, he look like my people. You don't look like my people. And then, them man are even like another couple steps away from you. So you're telling me I've got 30%? No way, fam. You might have 30%.
Bro,
you know why
listen.
he's got 30%?
First
Because he
of all-
lives with them, and you might have been interbreeding with them for years.
Bro, I've got.
And I
Bro,
haven't.
listen,
My
listen.
family haven't, bro.
Hold
We live
on,
in a
bro.
different part of the
obviously
world.
the further
Listen,
you
Raj,
go,
Raj,
like,
Raj,
hold on,
speak,
hold on. The further you go to like Balochistan, yeah. They're basically Arabian.
Where's Pakistan, bro?
I know what I'm saying.
Balochistan,
The
Sindh,
further you,
Kashmir, Punjab,
do you know
the
what?
northwestern
Do you know what we need
province,
to do? Can I say something? Do you know what we need to do
Pashtun
next
people?
time? Yeah, we need to get a map.
Hey,
yeah?
I look more Pashtun than
We
you,
need
bro.
to-
So am I saying I'm Pashtun?
I look more Pashtun than you. I look more northern
I'm not
than you.
Pashtun, I'm
You're
Punjabi.
saying,
Let's
yeah.
not go into
Punjabi,
this
you
argument.
Let's
Let's
I
get
know,
let's
but
get
he-
the-
but he-
I'm
let's get-
Punjabi, bro.
He's like I'm South Indian,
I'm
bro.
not saying.
That's what he's saying.
What's that?
He's
Yeah,
not like
you're
I'm
more
South
South
Indian.
Indian than me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not.
more South
Bro,
Indian than
I'm
me.
not. I'm not. I'm not.
So let's
I'm
get
not.
let's
I'm
get
not.
let's
I've
talk
done my
this
DNA
question.
test.
You're
I'm
more
not.
South Indian than me.
I'm not, man. I'm not.
Hold on. Let's talk about the.
100%.
What do you know about the genetics?
He's
though?
more South Indian
No,
than
me,
me.
yeah.
He's
I'm
not
from-
Muslim.
Bro,
100%.
No, can you give us the genetics? Do you know anything about the genetic studies that have been done on
Yeah, yeah, I know,
So
I
if you
know.
talk about that, that'll be
Yeah,
better.
And you know you're Muslim. If that's your DNA, you should be Muslim, bro. What do you mean? Why do you think Raj is not Muslim? Because his DNA leans more to that side. Even his scripture is Hindu.
You're mad.
Well, your scripture's not Hindu.
Nah, it is a little.
Exactly.
my DNA,
A lot
yeah,
of
is
his
South
religion
Asian.
comprised from the Hindu religion.
Well, same with Islam. It's comprised
From
of
the Hindu
Christianity and
religion.
Judaism.
Yeah, because we're Abrahamic faith.
I know. So we're Islamic faith.
Yes, to say that, innit? But why does your religion borrow from us too then? From the Abrahamic faith?
Well, you borrowed off the
This
Judaism.
is off topic.
and,
This is
No,
off
we didn't borrow
topic.
off Hinduism, did
Hold
we?
on. If you
Raj,
use
you gotta
your
control it,
logic,
Raj.
hold on. Let's go back to it because we're not going to get into religion.
Yeah, control it, Raj.
Let's go back to you because like the reason I bring you is.
Mediate.
Hold on.
No, I don't like this brother, innit? He keeps
No,
trying.
why you don't
I'm gonna
like
put it on him. Well, keep talking.
No. Give us whatever you know about
you're not the
the
victim. Leon,
South
this guy's the
Indian and
victim
North
today.
Indian DNA studies that have been
Hey,
done.
don't play the victim card next time and say Big Ass bullied me just because I'm big. It's not my fault.
Big Ass not gonna bully
It's my
me, trust
genes,
me.
innit? See, I'm trying to claim that, yeah, look. Because Big Ass is that big, yeah, and these people is Gujarati, that proves
Big
my
Ass
claim,
doesn't
innit?
know about Baruchis, man. That's
my
why he
claim,
thinks
innit?
that we're all
So
the
that's
same.
one clan in your whole thing.
That's
What's the
my
name?
clan, though, innit?
But name more clans, innit? I could name you 100 clans
So,
in my people that are like
Oh, we've got
that.
Bengali here
I'm
as
asking you
well.
to name more.
We've got Bengali here as well.
Selective.
Bengali as well. Oh, so can we discuss now about the? Before we go on? Do you agree with the Aryan invasion theory yourself that a nomadic tribe
Not
called the
one.
Aryans?
See, you lot don't let me say what I believe.
Yeah, so tell us.
I believe, yeah, over the years, Turkic tribes, Mongol tribes, Persian peoples, even Arabian peoples, like later on, like all of these people have migrated and settled and passed through and lived and, you know, interbred with the people of that land and also set up, you see what's cut me again, and also set up their own community. Learn some manners, bro. And also set up their own communities, yeah, which have been everlasting and still staying there to this day. That is my theory. That's what I believe, innit? So if you want to tell me it's wrong, that's your prerogative, but you're not going to change my opinion.
No, that's
But that's
a
cool.
good-
Go
that's a
carry
good-
on.
But you're saying more of a
Raj.
migration theory,
Yeah, but Raj, look.
which is
Yeah,
I agree
yeah.
with. I agree
But
with
I
that as
also
well.
believe that
Right,
some
but-
tribes were violent.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
Some tribes were violent and they actually kicked the people out of there. I believe that too.
All right, so you.
But not always.
Yeah, not always. Yeah, so what we're trying to establish who are the Indus Valley civilization inhabitants.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and when because they always there were.
I
there were-
don't think we can really judge.
No, this is just us discussing. So what I'm
Bang on,
saying is
that
that
was there.
from your opinion, opinion, do you agree with the Aryan invasion theory that a nomadic tribe that was more militaristic came in and subjugated that people and then pushed them down south?
No, I don't agree with that. But just to answer Ardz's point before that, what he was saying about all the migrations into Pakistan, and this argument that Pakistan
Even your people, you have a lot of our blood in you.
This argument,
we're similar people.
Okay, let me finish.
But you have more of them as well.
No, something's going on
this
behind.
argument, that Pakistanis are different because they had foreign influence. Okay.
Yeah, my missus, man.
It's, the thing is, Pakistan, okay, it's always had a very big population, right? So when the Mongols come
Because
in,
it's one of the earliest civilizations.
yeah. So when the Mongols come in, okay, they only have a few in number. It's like they got 10,000.
But they settle in it and they
Yeah, but it's only
Look
10.
at the Greeks. The Greeks,
It's
there was
only
only very
10,000.
limited number of Greeks that came.
If you look at Indians, yeah, so a lot of them are South Indians as well, a lot darker as
Where
well.
are you from, brother?
Pakistan.
Pakistani, whereabouts?
Kashmir sides, but
Kashmir side, yeah, mashallah. Good example, brother. Panda camera, come here. Alright. This brother, you can blatantly tell the physical features. Look at him. Does he look at all any kind of like South Indian to you?
no, but listen, hear what I'm saying.
You understand? This is what I'm getting
That's
at.
simplistic, though, isn't it?
No, it's not,
That's
brother.
overly
These are genetic features. These are genetic features.
No,
No, I'm not saying we're the same.
Oh, no.
But what I'm
Before we
saying
go,
is, yeah,
can you go into the
He's from
DNA
Kashmir.
studies? That I know.
Look at his genetics.
I know
You
this.
understand what I mean?
It's obvious. People from the North India do look different from people from South India. That's not up for contention.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
not-
you can
yeah,
physically see
obviously,
it.
isn't it? Yeah.
In fact, they're actually. I know people don't like
no, look at the
races,
nose. Look at the nose.
but
Yeah,
that's
the nose,
because
yeah.
that's because they're
Even
from.
Not just the nose, the eyes, even.
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying.
head,
That
the chin,
they're from an Australide
even
race.
height.
They're from an Australide race, yeah, and the people from the North are from a Caucasian race. So
I'm
you
a
just
troll
told me,
sometimes, I
you
can't
just
help
told me, like if you could
He
just
started
say,
off on the wrong foot.
if you
He
just,
started better, and they kept
if you just say yeah, what you know about the DNA studies, because that's going to be important. Like the people of India, what do you know? Because I haven't really looked into it enough.
Basically, last week, yeah, there was a guy here. I think he was a kind of a light-skinned guy, a Pakistani one, and he was talking about a DNA paper that came out.
You're talking about Osama.
He was about, but he didn't quite.
Yeah. Are
He
you
didn't,
talking about brother Osama?
Osama, yeah, he didn't quite understand the data of the paper.
Hey, he's
Now,
19 years old, bro. What's wrong with you?
I'm saying he's always crying.
He's sticking up for that 20-year-old transsexual over there, but you can't let an original born man that's 19 give him some leeway. You want to give the 20-year-old transsexual leeway because of the age, but the 19-year-old boy that wants to live like a boy, you can't give him no leeway.
But I think
Is
let's go back.
Is he 19 or something?
Let's go back.
Is he 19 years old?
See Simon, he wants to give Simon leeway all the time because Simon's 20 years old, and Osama's only 19. So I said, at least give Simon a little bit of leeway, innit? Why are you so harsh on him all the time?
Sorry, Osama, you're always
You don't want to do that, hear me?
all day.
Your brother's 19
Sorry,
years
I'm
old.
come on, let's
Yeah,
go.
but look, I get the point. Yeah, the paper came out in April, okay, and there was a lot of debate around this paper that came out. Now, what they did is they took a lot of samples from Central Asia around the north of Pakistan, yeah. But in India, okay, because the climate is too hot, they couldn't actually get real samples of people from the ancient times from India.
You're going to get a
And
lot of hate for Gujarat.
what they've done.
These are my boys.
What they've done is they made some theory. Bro, let me talk here. They made some theory, okay, and they're saying that there was a migration from north into south, but there's not really a lot of evidence for that. But if there was more evidence, maybe
What's
we
your
could.
evidence? You haven't proved shit. You haven't given one history. You said earlier before we started the comment, the whole reason I allowed you to come into the thing because you weren't supposed to be here. Because remember the show
What do you
with
want?
Big Ards and Ardz.
Do you ever let me talk?
No, but we
No,
said
but
we're going to
here's
have
the thing.
guests. We're
So
going to
let
have
us
guests.
know some facts and figures. You haven't bust no facts
What
and
do you want to
figures.
know? What do you want to know?
All that
You're
shit
asking
you're
me a
talking,
question.
back it up,
You
innit?
just can't. No, but he's trying to talk about just to tell
All
us
of
what
the
you
stuff
know
he's
about.
saying, back it up.
Hold on, what you know about the
So far you're just giving
DNA
opinions
studies of
and
India.
hearsay.
He's a
Yeah,
real
it is.
Indian.
Okay, so look, the most important thing about look, Raj, look. Okay, this is it, yeah.
Let me get some receipts.
This is the decider, yeah. Okay, look. There's one haplogroup called R1A1, yeah, which is the most dominant haplogroup in South Asia, in Indo-Aryan, in the north. Like the Brahmins have it, the Pakistanis have it, the Sikhs have it. It's very and in Europe and in Central Asia, R1A, R1B is known as the Indo-European haplogroup,
That's
right?
present all around South Asia.
And different varieties of it. Now in South Asia, they have one specific variant of it, okay, which is very popular, okay, which is very common. The most dominant one is the L657.
Right.
Now. They say that L657 must have come from the Aryans that invaded, right?
Okay.
Now, but the Aryan, those people that that apparently invaded, okay, they
never
have
had that
like
gene.
200 or 300 samples, and not one person, okay, have they found that L657.
They don't carry that gene.
They don't carry it. So if they don't carry it, how can they bring it into South Asia and make it the most dominant one in South Asia? It doesn't make sense, okay? Now, what they're doing with this. Since 100 years ago, okay, these Europeans have been saying that we invaded South Asia and we gave them Sanskrit, we gave them the civilization, we gave them their religion. That's what the white people have been saying for 100 years. Now,
Just to add
the
on
problem,
to that.
the thing is, yeah, they don't want to accept that they're wrong because for them it's a matter of pride, okay? And they don't want to accept it. So what they do is they always change the goalposts. Now, what they were saying before, they said there's no weapons in this civilization, yeah? You know,
that they found. Let's cover that.
Yeah,
that they found.
listen.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I agree with you.
2 months ago, you know what they found? A chariot, okay?
All right.
A
That's
chariot.
very
Imagine.
A chariot, a horse-drawn
Oh yeah, because
chariot.
they said there was no chariots
Exactly.
within that
They
civilization.
said there was no chariot and no horses here, and they
trying to say
found.
we don't know about the wheel.
They found horse bones apparently, okay, but they definitely found a chariot from 2000 BC. They found a chariot. Now there's no way there could be a chariot there from 2000 BC if like they never had chariots in the first place, right?
But you know the carbon dating isn't that accurate.
Listen. There's a chessboard they found from Gujarat from 2000 BC. Okay, a chessboard. Now chess, okay, is an Indo-European game. Okay, chess is an Indo-European game. The Persians tell us here that chess came from India. Okay, that says in Persian literature.
Yeah, someone corrected me about that last week. I think it was a white gentleman.
The
'Cause I was
Persians
saying
tell
that
us
the white man
that
is
chess came from India, okay? Now we know that we found a chessboard in India from 2000 BC, okay? So that means that the Persian literature, which tells us that chess came from India, must be from around that time, which means that it's too early for them to have come like later on. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Move your bag in it, Raj. Your bag in it.
There's a lot of thieves around here,
I don't
man.
want to put my foot on it.
There's a lot, yeah, I know. There's a lot of thieves though. A lot of thieves. Yeah. Sounds a bit dodgy. That.
yeah, so basically like. What it is, it's like the main issue here is not just India, it's also, you know, Afghanistan, Central Asia and Iran, yeah. You know the Iranian literature, it was very similar to Indian, yeah. Anything like Bactria, you must have heard of Bakhtar, Bactria, Margiana, all that.
They're all Indo-European language.
Yeah. Now they've got a lot of literature as well, right? And what the Europeans would say is that all of that literature came after 1500 BC, right? But we think that it was before that.
Yeah.
So we think that the Vedic literature is like 4,000
it's older than
BC,
that.
4,000 or 5,000 BC. The Persian one is like 2, 3, 4, 3,000. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Just to explain why the British done it. Sorry about the British, but they came in and they wanted to rule India by dividing people. And what they did was to use the Brahmins as what you call the kind of what you call the invaders of that land, and they'd make them into what you call
Well,
like, you know.
it's funny you say. It's
what I'm
funny-
saying,
it's funny
they
you
would
say
use
they
them.
made them.
Well, yeah,
Because
obviously
before
they work for them as
before
well.
they came, that system was already there.
But I want to say they utilise that system
I'd like to
and they
make that known.
they manipulated the
Before the
system
British
to work
came,
in their
yeah.
favour.
But let's
What
just
they
know that
but what
the
they did
Indian-
what they did
the
though.
Hindu system is
Hold on.
racist.
But what they did, yeah, is racist. So what they did though was one thing on top of that. They said the Brahmins were there, but the real Aryans, the real top guys, were them. So what they were saying,
Would you be a dhimmi in the Hindu caste system? Are you like a dhimmi kind of thing?
I don't answer that, brother. So what it is, yeah,
You don't say stuff like that.
because then I'm going to reveal what caste I am.
No,
I don't
a
believe in
dhimmi,
caste.
a dhimmi, like you know that you say you're not non-Muslim.
Yeah, it's a similar thing.
Yeah, so to them,
yeah, it's a bad
dhimmi,
system.
that's
Yeah, it's
what
a
I'm
bad
saying,
system, like Dalit
I'm not
system.
saying your caste.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that they use that as a way to say we are the original inhabitants of India who conquered it before, and we're back again. Do you agree with that? The British use that as a way. They use that as a way to kind of manipulate.
No. The Europeans, okay, they can't accept the fact that
No, but can you just-
South Asia, okay, has the Indo-European languages from a very long time
Let me know
ago,
when you know what I'm
and
talking
Europe had it later on. So they find it difficult to accept it because there's, because obviously they were the most advanced, like most richest and most powerful part of the world. So they can't accept that the South Asian barbarians apparently, is the source of their lack of English. So they can't accept it. But it's most likely that it came from South Asia, but it's not for certain. But that's what I think. That's why they say that.
So that's your opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Obviously, it's
I could give your opinion some respect, but I wouldn't believe that opinion because I still maintain my opinion. And then obviously, that whole thing what you're talking about, that research that's been done, that says that around this area.
Are you cool, Sam? Sorry. I'm sorry.
They say that around that area, like you was mentioning, that L something that.
Yeah.
How many people have actually had their DNA test?
But thousands.
That's not
And
enough
how
of
many
a
people-
sample.
Yeah, once
man.
again, how many people live in these areas?
Billions.
How many people live in India, for example?
No, sampling is good enough.
No,
Sampling
one
is good
second,
enough.
Baba. How many people live in India, for example?
The thing is, when you ask these questions, okay, you have to know
Just
that
give
who
an
you're
answer
talking
at least, like what?
to. This stuff is very
maybe
high.
A billion, right? A billion in India, and Pakistan has 200 million. Bangladesh, I'm sure, has got like over that.
Yeah, but this is uncontested, okay? We know
No,
that
this
there's.
is what I'm trying to say. So, no, the point I'm trying to make, it's not about, I'm not trying to say what your theory is totally wrong, but what I'm saying is there has to be, there's a flaw in it because he just said maybe thousands, which is still not sure. It could have been hundreds that they tested. We don't know. Because the people in our areas, they don't really do DNA tests. Yeah, these rural areas are not doing DNA tests, right? But anyway, let's take your word for it and just say thousands. If you compare the thousands to the billion people that live in India and 200 million that live in Pakistan, And if you add like the north of Pakistan and south of Afghanistan too, the slums, that's probably another 150 million there. So that's a minuscule number, and that research, I mean, is flawed, bro. If in the future,
it's very
one
simple.
second, bro. Let me just carry on, and then you can say it. So in the future, if more research is carried out, on a greater span, on a wider scale, and it still shows that information, then maybe we could believe that. But the point I'm trying to make today, the main point what I'm trying to make, like present day now, the people from my part of the country, like Pakistan, people of my part of the North Indian subcontinent, they are not majorly related to the Druidians.
Are you Punjabi though?
Yes.
You're Punjabi, right? You're not Sindhi?
No, I'm not Sindhi. But we might have, like you said, some portions of DNA from them, which I'm not.
But you're from South Punjab, isn't it?
No, but I've only moved there.
All right.
I'm originally from North Punjab.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but I've migrated down because.
Do you mind me asking which part?
I don't want to let that out, and I can tell you off camera, no problem. You get me? So we kind of migrated for economic reasons. Yeah, so it's not like I don't originate from South Punjab. We moved for economic reasons, and we've got land there now and everything. So that's our base at the moment. Originally, I'm from North Punjab. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. So our people are at the moment genetically different from them. A major part of our DNA, I would say, would consist of Central Asian and Persian DNA from Pakistan side, right? I agree with you. We do have some percentages from the Dravidian and the original Indian. So-called the original Indian man, right? How you can say. Your people, I'm not too, fully, knowledge up. I don't know the full information about the.
All three of us are about the same, bro.
Yeah, so exactly.
We're about the same.
Earlier, when I was doing all that stuff, the hype thing, that obviously, that's a bit of a banter. But to be honest, I'm not really fully aware about Gujarat. But looking at you people, you resemble more my side than the rest of South India, to me, in my eyes. So I would think that you would have a greater percentage of our type of DNA and less of theirs. But anyway, so that's my take.
Yeah, that's fine. There's a lot of Pakistani people who think that their descent, they have admixture or they have blood or from Persia, from Central Asia, but it's very, very limited. There's no evidence for that whatsoever, like at all. There's very little evidence for it. Reason being, Pakistan was very populated, and the people that did come in, there were very few of them. A lot of them that came in actually was Delhi, so the Mughals didn't actually set up in Punjab. They went to Delhi. The Mughals were there.
No, we're talking about way before that. We're talking about like.
Scythian, bro.
We're talking about.
You're not Scythian.
No,
You're not
I'm a
Scythian.
team man, bro. Trace the team man back, bro.
I was explaining who the Scythians are.
Yeah, but he's gonna say, no, you're not that. But tell us what you lot are, like, go on. Tell us your caste first, and then you can tell us about this. Like Ardz was saying that Raspek knows about every religion, but except for his own. You sound like the brother that knows about every other caste except for your own. So tell us about your one a bit. Where did you come from? You're saying I'm not from there, so let us know where your people are from. What was your caste again you said earlier?
Bro, look, listen, this is how it is, yeah.
So now you don't want to say his name.
Where all of us are northern
Was it
South
Haruchi
Asian.
or was it something like
All of us are northern South Asian, yeah. You two are.
Let me ask you.
I'm not South
But let me ask you one.
Northern South. You're the same as him, innit?
Alright, let's one thing's for
It's
definite.
this bag, man.
Yeah, I know.
Pull it up.
Actually, let me put this over here. Let me put this over here so I know where it is.
Yo, watch it, Raj. But he's falling down
So
himself.
we're going to go around in circles in terms of we know that the South Dravidians are not a totally separate race, but you can physically see that they look different from the North Indians. This is why when you have Indian cinema, you have a very distinct version of cinema.
I want to ask him a question.
So what I want to know though is from your perspective, like for me, I believe I'm a bit more kind of in between both, like him, and I've got a theory of my own, is that it wasn't a kind of an invasion, it was more of a migration of people from Central Asia coming in, and I believe they mixed with the Dravidians.
Okay. Raj, can I ask you a question?
Over a period of
I
time.
also believe that while this was happening, Raj, not all parts of that place was inhabited. I like to make that point too. So don't think that that time there were so many people populating that area. Yeah. So I think when this was happening, certain parts of that, northwest Pakistan, Kashmir, were not really inhabited the way they are now. That there's so much population, such a dense population of people.
1,500 BC is not a long time ago, man.
But in terms of population-wise, it is.
Yeah, but it was.
It is.
Kashmir
You know that in terms of population,
Kashmir was
it is,
populated.
Yeah? So
Swat
let's carry
was
on.
populated.
Bro, stop cutting in anyway, man. You got bad habits. Then I'm
talking.
gonna keep going when the bad way
Conversation.
towards you. I'm telling you, huh? Yeah, but when you keep cutting in and you don't let the other person make a point, you seem rude, innit? And then when I start being rude towards you, everyone can say I'm being rude as well, innit? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I can carry on and keep doing
Just
that
talk,
with you.
man. Don't worry about it.
And we're not gonna get nowhere, innit?
Yeah.
You get me? I've even lost the chain of
Okay,
thought.
Raj, look.
Go on, carry on.
No, so let me.
No, Raj,
Here you go,
look.
go,
You
go.
be
You
talking,
you say what you want to say.
Raj, be
Look.
quiet. Let the brother keep
I know,
talking.
no,
Keep
no.
talking.
Look, this is the
Say your
thing,
shit,
yeah,
man.
Raj. You
You've
said,
got your 5 minutes of fame, say
you
it,
said,
bro.
you said, that
Fucking
the people invaded,
fucking
right?
manners, bro.
But you don't know if you're talking about Scythians or Aryans.
No,
What are you?
Now
let's
listen.
change
But what are you,
the word
though?
Listen.
migrated.
You don't know, innit?
Yeah,
You
but
don't know.
No, I
You
think
don't wanna say
the
it.
word invaded is
You don't want to
loaded.
say what you are, where you're from, what your people
I
are from.
already said I'll give my whole fucking.
No, you just said your past name. But
Yeah,
where did
so
your
I'll give
past
my
come
past
from?
name.
Where did they come from? How did they come there?
Bro,
Let us know that.
No one knows how
Hold
they
on,
came. How they
hold on,
came
hold
there.
on.
No one knows.
You don't know nothing
No one
about it.
knows. No one knows how they came
Hold
there.
on.
No one knows
I'm
how they
not
came
gonna-
there. How did your cars come to where
That's
they
what I'm
are?
trying to tell you what I was.
How did you, what, Scythian?
Yeah.
Are you Scythian, bro?
So what are you?
How can you be Scythian?
What are you?
Do you even know what Scythian is?
If you let me talk,
Go on.
you're going to shut up for a minute.
Yeah, go on. Tell us about
are you
Scythian.
gonna shut up?
Tell us about your theory, Scythian.
Are you going to shut up for a
Yeah,
minute?
shut up.
Yeah?
Oh, shut up.
mate.
I'm on the level, are you going to shut up? You're pissing me off now. And I'm
Bro,
gonna
you
start
talking.
going on
Talk
you.
about Scythian.
Then you're going to be pissed, innit? On the level though, you'll be pissed because if I keep going there, you're going to be real pissed, innit?
Come on, man. Let's just talk, man.
I'm trying to, innit? A little bitch
Remember,
ass
I
fucking
fell
fool.
out with him when I
A little-
first
no,
met
one
him, and I
second.
like
This
him
little-
now, so-
This little bitch ass 5'7" guy
yeah.
keeps coming to me and chatting shit like some big
Bro,
hard
look,
guy.
I'm 5'7", yeah. We're having a
Yeah, you
discussion,
come up to
yeah.
my fucking like chest, bro. You don't
Bro,
even know
look, this is
what
how I
you're
talk.
talking
This is how I
about.
talk.
Keep looking up to me when you talk to
Bro,
daddy.
this is how I talk,
Keep looking
yeah.
up to
Big up
daddy.
Aryan
Okay,
Kelly.
man.
Keep looking up to
Yeah,
daddy.
yeah, yeah. Alright,
No, sorry, sir. I
You
don't
don't know it. Keep looking up to daddy, fam.
I'm joking.
May Allah
You
bless
don't know,
you.
keep looking up
Alright,
to daddy.
alright.
F you too, man.
Alright, man, alright.
That's what you are, bro. You little
Alright.
bitch, fam.
Hold on, can we
You
get
don't have
back
no
to?
fucking manners, bro.
Can we
Hold
just?
on, I don't
Guys,
talk.
guys.
You're lucky to get brought
Can
into
we-
the
can we-
thing.
can we
yeah?
get
You're
back
lucky
to-
to get brought into the thing.
Can-
You
can
don't know about
hold on.
how did you come into the thing?
Hold on, I asked him because he said he
And
knows
then
about
when did you
Indian
ask me and
history.
what did I say? It's okay, come in.
Yeah. So,
Because it's not a thing
yeah.
that you was involved from last week, were you?
Alright,
So then
alright.
You're
So-
a guest on the thing and you have no fucking manners, bro.
This is how I always
What do you
talk.
mean?
Well, I don't know, man.
Fuck
Why
off,
he's
then,
getting
bro.
upset,
Fuck
man.
off, then, bro. I don't want you on this.
Why don't you fuck
Fuck
off?
off.
No,
Try to make me fuck
calm
off.
down,
Try to make
calm
me
down,
fuck off,
calm
bitch.
down.
Try to make me fuck off. Yeah, I'm telling you, try to make me
Hold on,
fuck
big
off.
God, big God, big God, relax.
Try
I
to
don't
make
mean
me
rude,
fuck
yeah.
off.
I don't mean to
Try to
be
make me
rude.
fuck off.
Bro, I don't mean to be
So
rude,
shut
man.
up then, bro.
Alright, so
Come off the thing, man. You
Look,
shouldn't be
I'll
here, bro.
stand
Fuck
here,
off,
you
man.
talk in it,
I
yeah?
don't want to hear your fucking opinion.
I'll stand here, you talk.
Just
I
say
don't
your
want to
piece.
talk. I
Just
don't
just say your
want to
piece.
talk. I don't want to talk.
We don't want to end on a bad note. We
Man,
don't want to
invite
end
the
on a
pussy
bad
on,
note.
yeah? You don't have manners to let man talk.
We don't want to
innit,
end
bro?
on a bad note.
Keep cutting
Come
him.
on. Come back in. Come on, Ardz.
No,
Come
bro, I
on.
don't want him in there, bro.
Alright,
You want him in there, I'm going in there,
Alright,
bro.
so no.
Don't
Can I
carry
say
your shit
something?
on every week with him, innit?
Hold on. Can I say something?
Don't do your shit.
Hold on.
Listen.
Can we let him finish it, then he can
Don't
go,
do
and then we
everything.
can carry on?
I've got no respect for the guy. Tell him to fuck off. Yeah? Listen to what I'm saying. If you're going to start a thing with me, a weekly thing, don't invite guests here that don't have no respect for me when I'm one of the hosts of the thing to not even let me speak and say my piece. How many times, all right, your camera's recording, all of you man, listen, how many times this guy cut me off, lad? Let me know, innit?
Alright, so let's.
Nah, bro, fuck him, bro. He's not coming in the thing, innit, bro?
Alright,
You don't deserve my time,
alright,
yeah? If the guy wanna come, I'll fuck off.
Alright.
And then you can have the thing with him.
The thing is,
Yeah?
this is both mine and Big Ard's
Yeah, then fuck off,
situation.
bro.
So
Piss
if
me
he's
off,
not
bro.
happy with an individual,
18 plus,
I'm not an
18 plus.
individual.
Make sure you put that in
Happy
the
with an
title, bro.
individual. We've got to come to a consensus.
Let me say something, yeah?
Nah, man, fuck off, man.
Look,
But bro, hear what I say. I don't want to hear your shit.
I want to apologize, yeah?
No, I don't want your apology.
Come on, man.
I don't want your
Let me
apology.
say
I don't want your apology.
something.
I don't want your
Let me
apology.
just conclude
I don't
and
want your
go.
apology, fam.
Come on, man. Big the
You're
bigger man.
irrelevant to me,
Come
innit?
on,
Go
come
away,
on.
bro.
Okay, but
Yeah, I don't want you on the thing. Yeah, go
Okay,
to the
let
right
me speak to this
camera.
camera.
I don't want you on the thing, bro.
Where's Leon's camera?
I don't want you on the thing.
Let me speak to Leon's
Yeah,
camera.
but I don't want you on the thing.
Let's
innit?
just leave it
This is
alone.
supposed to be.
It's
This is
immature,
supposed to
man.
be. This is supposed to be Raj. This is supposed to be Raj and Big Ardz talking about
I got my
North
own
Indian
channel on
history.
YouTube, yeah, I don't
Go
need
fucking
this.
represent your channel then.
Hold on. Let's
Go represent your channel then.
Let's just do this.
Why are you
here.
begging over here? Why are you begging over here, fam?
Hold on.
Huh? The man goes, I got my own channel, but you're begging over here, innit?
All
I'm
right,
not
so-
begging, I'm not
Because you
begging.
know the man's got
Can I just-
40,000, 50,000 subscribers,
Can
so
I
you're
just say
begging over
something?
here.
Yeah? Let's
You're
just
a fool,
just for civility, me and Big Ardz will talk.
Yeah, that's it.
Nah, man, fuck him, bro.
And then
I'm
what
done,
we'll
bro.
do,
No, I
yeah,
don't
is
want to talk. That's
if he
alright.
wants you back in the
Done with him,
future, then you come back. Because
This
obviously
is why I don't
it's a
like Raji's
conversation.
friends, bro. Raji's friends are all Islamophobes. They come around, they chat shit to man. They think that, yeah, he's an ex-Muslim, bro.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, he's an ex-Muslim, he's a kafir. Yeah, hear what I'm saying, yeah?
Let's get
These
back to the
fucking waste man,
conversation.
they come around, all of Raji's friends, yeah? They're waste man, they have no decorum, no manners. A big man like me try to be polite to them, give them manners and that. He's on the show that we're supposed to be hosting. Man cut me off like 6 times, and then he's trying
Right,
to
so
tell me shit.
let's get back to the thingy, man. Come
Fucking
on.
fool, bro. You get me?
So let's get back to what we was talking about in terms of you saying you're a Scythian. You
Yeah,
you
and
explain.
He's cutting me off,
but
man.
just explain.
You're not a
that.
Scythian.
But just
Fuck are
explain.
you, but you don't even know what you why you
But
little
just
bitch,
explain.
bro.
Just
Man
explain
don't know
why
what
you
he is,
say you're
man don't know what he
Scythian.
is. Man don't even want to represent what he is.
But
And he's
explain-
telling me I'm not what I am.
Listen, big God,
Fool.
big
God,
God, deal with that,
explain why you
Brother,
believe
you know
you're
what it is, yeah?
Scythian.
I'm kind of hyped up, bro. You tell what you are, and then I'll come in a bit, man. In a minute.
All right,
Let me have a cigarette while we're
so
doing it.
basically, yeah, obviously
Fiend, bro.
we're Punjabi, so it's gonna get a bit heated. Sorry, yeah, it's just the
Yeah,
way
that's
it
the
is,
difference
yeah.
between our people, bro.
So the thing is that, look, the whole point of the discussion was to kind of get a more eclectic view of India and the disparate groups within India. And this is proving it, like, there are different types of people within India, and we do have conflict when you come across another group, like from the Gujarat, from that area and that area. What Big Ardz is trying to say is that obviously he believes that his people, the Jimmy, are from a
don't talk about mine, innit?
No,
I'm going to give my own.
hold on,
Talk about your people.
Yeah, all right, so,
maybe not your specific caste, but maybe talk about the Sikhs on the side of India. Or
all right, so for me personally, on my side, I believe that the people on the Pakistani side are actually the same people in terms of genetics.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
What differentiates us, like, is probably our thought process of how we think we got there. I believe, like I said, like there's the British theory of the white colonialism where they kind of propagated the Aryan invasion theory about white men coming into India, civilizing us, pushing the Dravidians down, and kind of like subjugating that area and then taking over. I don't agree with that theory. I agree with more of a migration theory, like you were saying, which is that groups of disparate people from, say, Iran, from Afghanistan, from all over the place, over thousands of years, migrated into the area, and at some point, any Dravidian blood we had was probably diluted over thousands of years of intermingling, and so the Dravidians, when you go further north, obviously retain what we're trying.
So one second, I'm trying. Let me just cut you. I'm sorry to cut you. You know when you were saying that we whitewash kind of like diluted. Yeah. But so now present day us would be more them in it. Then
100%.
So that's the whole point I was trying to make. He's not understanding.
That's not up for dispute. It depends on the percentage. So I reckon the more south you go, say towards Bangladesh, you'll probably have more Dravidian. So you'd have more Dravidian admixture in your DNA. The more north you go, or the more further you go towards like Afghanistan, the less you will have, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So
because the migration would have come from there, they would have been mixing with people from outside.
What I was trying to say is that
I agree with you.
I agree that Gujarat would have more Dravidian blood than us.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to tell him, and he was agreeing with that. But anyway, so now I'll break down what I think, and this is my opinion, and this is from what I've researched, innit? So if you man are going to tell me to my face it's wrong, have something to back it up, innit? And don't be disrespectful.
Stop bitching and whining, just write in the comments and give us a different
it's
view.
cool. So
or come to Speaker's Corner and
if
talk.
you do any kind of research like on the internet or whatever about the Chima Jat tribe, you could check it out that we derive from people that were called Sakas.
Oh, no, that's right. That's right.
Shaka and Saka, and these people were like, from the Scythian people, and there was an actual kingdom, I don't know the dates, there was an actual kingdom around Afghanistan, parts of Iran, parts of modern day Pakistan, Punjab, Kashmir, that was the Indo-Scythian kingdom, right? This is like historical fact, there was a kingdom called Indo-Scythian kingdom.
What was that?
I can bring that next time, you know what I mean? So I wasn't really prepared to talk about that now, because of him I'm doing it.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
So that's what the kingdom was there, and the people were interbreeding, intermixing with the local populations, which I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But they were an invading force too.
Yeah.
So sometimes they were conquering lands peacefully, like just migrating, and the people are willing to live with them hand in hand. And sometimes they're doing it violently, and the people are getting pushed down a bit further south. So that's the people I believe I derive from. Next week I'll do a bit more history and I'll elaborate on it.
Oh, shall we talk about Scythians next week?
We can do that.
So I kind of don't know too much about it, so I can learn a bit myself. I don't think we're that far off in terms of what we believe.
It's just right. Look, I don't mind doing things with you. I don't mind you bringing guests on, innit? So have some ground rules that when the people that are the actual hosts of the thing, the other guys should show respect. Don't you think, brother?
All right. So
if I bring someone on, I'm gonna like the other day you saw me on the stream. How much moderation did I do for your person?
So
this is what I'm trying to get. So if your people are not gonna respect me,
all right, so
they're gonna get the big odds that you got the first time you see me.
So let's set some ground rules here. This is mine and his show in the terms of we're going to be talking about what we want to talk about. And also, if he doesn't like an individual, he can ask me to tell the man to leave. If I don't like an individual, I can tell the man to leave.
Hold on. No, let me make a point, please.
He's a rude man.
Listen here.
You're a rude guy. We just said this is our show, so just chill out.
But let me make a point.
You can tell him after.
Once it's all complete, I'll let you.
You're fucking up our thing again.
When it's ended and we
We're
move,
doing something.
when we move,
You're messing up again.
If you're talking about Islam, you can talk, but I've been studying this topic for a long time.
But we don't want your input.
So I want to talk about it.
We don't want your input.
If you don't want me to talk about this topic,
can I say something?
If you don't want me to talk about
We don't want your input.
if you talk to someone,
I don't want your input.
if you want to talk to someone about this shit,
Can I say something?
I've been saying for 10 years, I've been saying for 10 years,
Can I say something? I want you involved, but I can't have you involved if next man doesn't want you.
I don't
You're
study other
disrespectful
stuff.
little bitch. Man don't want your input, innit? You're disrespectful little bitch, innit?
Yeah,
fuck off, bro. Fuck off. You're a little kafir. You're kafir.
Now he wants to.
You're kafir. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're kafir.
from before,
You're going to hell, you're
from before,
kafir.
yeah, he goes, you're not a Muslim, I don't
Yeah,
want to
you're
talk
not.
to you. From, that's why
You're
you
not-
don't
you're not a
want me to
Muslim.
debate, because
You're
I'm not a
kafir.
Muslim, because I left Islam.
You're
He don't
kafir.
talk about
Big
this,
up
I
the
left
kuffars.
Islam, that's
You're
what it is.
kafir, bro.
Big
Know
up the
that.
kuffars.
You're kafir.
We run
You're
things.
going to
I'm not
Jahannam.
meant to be rude to you,
Bro,
yeah,
you're
but
going
it's
to
my style.
Jahannam.
It's my style to talk
You're
like
going
that.
to Jahannam.
I'm
That's
not
where you're
meant
going
to be
to.
rude.
All right,
Whatever,
can we-
you're a
can
rude
we-
person.
can we-
I don't care if you've been to, you're a rude person.
Can I-
Control yourself.
but
and
can I
then,
say something else?
when you're in a social setting and you meet someone for the first time and you start debating them and joining into a show that they're doing, yeah, have some decorum. Have some manners. If you don't have that, I'm going to give you the same shit, or if not worse than what you tried to give me. Know that, innit, blood? Simple, innit? So
But
stop
my
talking
style
then.
is
You're
different.
still interrupting the
Alright, so-
thing.
alright, so
We're trying to wrap up the thing, and then after you can talk to him.
Yeah.
And you've done it again. That just proves my point. This man has no manners, bro.
All right, so let me say something. There's a lot of
No, man, that's what
Hold on,
kafirs, they don't
hold on,
have manners, bro.
Hold on. Look, I'm going to predict something here.
Yeah, but you're not a kafir.
Hold on,
I said kafir. I've
hold
ever
on.
called you a kafir? He's a kafir, but
I'm
you're
going to predict, yeah, that you two will get on at some point.
not. Nah, fuck that.
That's what I
Man,
predict.
stop talking about him,
But-
man.
but
Talk about the show.
I'm just predicting that you'll
Talk
get,
about the show,
you'll get
man.
on at
Next
one
week,
point.
what we talking
So
about?
the thing is that, can I say that we do need people, not necessarily him, but people in general that have,
Yeah.
because us two are not.
of
A lot of
course.
people think we're like some like scientists or something.
No,
like
we're
some-
not. We're not historians. We're not like
we're not a
scientists.
historian or a
We're just giving
scientist.
you our basic general knowledge that we've acquired from our family and also the little bits of research
Yeah,
that we do.
and we want to learn at the same time and educate people with it. But for us to do that, we do need to bring outside people in.
And you're more than welcome to come, but just respect that, you know.
But we'll
you have to
vet
have
them
manners.
next time.
You just have to have manners. Let each other finish speaking.
No, I'm gonna do it.
When we're talking, we let each other finish speaking and not cut each other up, and let's not be disrespectful from the get-go. When I feel that you're being disrespectful from the get-go, obviously I'm going to start being disrespectful, and the show is not going to be productive. Like today, this show should have been much more productive than what it has become.
I think it went alright.
Yeah, but it could have been much better.
Yeah, it could have been
But
better.
anyway, so I apologize to the viewers, the two cameramen, and even the people
But
surrounding,
can I say something
even
about-
the people around
Yeah,
us
yeah.
that are listening. We apologize for the shenanigans that happen. Hopefully next week that won't happen. We'll have a very productive.
Yeah, but the thing is about this particular theory, this is not a one-off topic that we just talk about once.
No, we're going to talk about it
We
again.
can go over it again with different
Definitely we'll
voices,
talk about
different
it again.
opinions,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's different versions of what
Yeah,
people
I'm up
think
for that, I'm
happened.
up for that.
So we can always expand on it anyway. I think overall they went pretty well,
Yeah.
considering.
You get more views anyway after that shit.
Obviously, we're not gonna be able to do a little conversation without no heat.
Yeah.
It happens even last week
I
with
tried
me
to
with
do
other
it. I
guy.
tried to do it with no heat though, because
But
I
even-
don't know if you lot have seen my general direction in the park so far since the first day I've come, and the way I'm trying to behave is away from what I was just doing there.
Yeah.
And when some people push my buttons, I will like. I know I'm still in that.
Before you go,
go on.
so do you consider Ardz to be part of the Sanskrit or the
It has a
Indo-European
lot of
language?
it has a lot of Sanskrit influence in it. Yes. But it
So
will-
I read it was actually a direct.
No, it's got
Linked
it's
to-
got a lot of Sanskrit influence in it, a lot of Persian, a lot of Arabic, a lot of Balochi, Sindhi, all of the languages, Punjabi.
Because
it's got,
one
it's got
thing
a
that is
mixture of all
one
of them.
thing that is very distinctive between South and North, which
Yeah.
we're going to go back, is language as well.
Yes.
Because the South Indian language is a Dravidian dialect, and it has what people don't understand. They think we can understand what they're saying.
we can't.
Their language is as
Totally different,
alien
it's totally
as somebody speaking Italian or something
Yeah.
like that. So I've had people try and talk to me who are Dravidians, and I
Yes.
can't understand a word they're saying. But if someone's speaking Urdu,
You can
they're
understand
speaking Hindi, or they're speaking any of these Indo-European languages.
Even Balochi people and Seraiki people and even like Kashmiri, they speak Patwari and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you can
still
understand
it.
words.
Yeah, you will still
So,
understand.
because it's all intermingled
Yes,
under the
definitely.
Indo-European language,
Yeah.
and this is one of the things that is quite interesting. How comes the people of the South have such a distinct look and distinct language as well? It's not just one thing,
Yeah.
and culture.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No,
obviously,
definitely, yeah.
so obviously, it's something that's quite interesting. And for people that don't realise, the BJ, obviously down to the BJP, they obviously are playing into this because the South Indians believe that they want a separate country. You know that? They got a separatist movement as well because they believe they're not part of India
Yeah, but I
either.
mean, Raj, if we go back to like history before the British came,
Yeah.
they might have a right to that claim because, like we spoke about,
Yeah.
India was never
No,
such
it's
a
never
big
a country,
country.
yeah.
Even the land of India today,
Yeah.
the country India is so big that there was never a country
Yeah.
that big before in history. So when those people from South India are saying they demand a separate
I
country,
agree with them.
maybe it's true. Maybe
They should
need
have.
it.
What they should have done with India.
Genetically and demographically and even linguistically, they're different people,
What
right?
they should have done was Punjab should have been a country.
Yes.
They should have had Kashmir as a country. I'm not sure what East Pakistan is, like the Balochistanis and stuff like that. And then they could have had South India and then Bangladesh. maybe like 5 or 6
I kind of
countries.
agree with that still, I agree with
Because right now, what is
at
happening...
that time, yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
if
But
they did
what
it-
the
if
problem
they did
is,
it then-
because what they've done
Yeah.
in present day now is so much
Oh,
problems.
no, it's too much
not
of a
going to
mess.
happen now.
But-
But you're right, I do agree
Yeah.
with that kind of theory. What's the match? That time, I do agree with that theory, what you're saying, and touching upon that they should have made that many countries.
Yeah.
Because the people from those, like Punjab, for example, we're all genetically and linguistically the same.
Yeah.
Kashmiris are linguistically, genetically the same. So yeah, so that makes very much
And
sense.
also,
right?
you wouldn't have
Yeah,
had
very much sense.
what you call the kind of massacres going along
Yeah.
when Punjab was
Yeah,
cut in
the
half.
migrations and
the
all that,
migration
yeah.
and stuff that
Definitely.
happened over,
No,
over
definitely.
all that time. Obviously, you know, it's Guru Nanak Dev's
Bro, I mean,
birthday,
Sikhs, Muslims, and Hindus. Before that, yeah, before the British came, we had different states and all that kind of stuff, governed by different rulers of different faiths. Yeah, but we all lived harmoniously amongst each other. We never had mass genocide in that kind of regard until the British made those borders, and we had to, like, cross those borders. It was like
I got to disagree a little bit. But we don't want to go into
do you know what I would
negativity.
compare that to? You know, like when they had the trenches and then they had the no man's land.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a similar kind of situations when people are crossing in their mass, like in millions, and they're passing each other, and conflict arises.
Well, this is why people don't realise that some people from Pakistan were originally my side of India.
Yes.
And some of my people
Yes.
from the Sikhs were over on that side. So
we call them muhajirs.
So we
or
still
something
have,
like that.
obviously we have Gurudwara like Nanak Sahib in Nanak Sahib.
But
So
you know who they are, majority in my country. They're the MQM. You don't want the MQM, bro.
What's that?
That's a political party.
are they?
That's one of them ruthless parties, bro.
Yeah,
You
what?
understand?
What do you
And,
mean ruthless?
MQM. I don't know I think it's Muslim Qawmi movement or something like that.
Alright.
And if you check into the history of them, they're like, proper thug kind of people, you get me? And they're more descended from India originally.
He's
So
gonna,
they
he's
migrated
gonna
over.
take me Pakistan, Punjab.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, bro. I'll take you to the birthplace. I'll take you to the birthplace of your guru, bro.
Now what I need to do is first go Amritsar,
You're
then one
invited,
day
you
I'll
get
go
me?
there as well.
Pakistan's always welcoming and open
I
to all of you.
will
You get me?
say
Come.
that the Sikhs are treated well in
Just
Pakistan.
know that, not just Sikhs,
I'm
yeah,
not
know
gonna
that
lie.
if you come for a holiday to Pakistan, yeah, know that even the normal people of the street are going to be so hospitable, yeah. You might try to buy some food on that, they might not even going to take your money. A lot of people
Yeah,
are like
I'm
that.
not.
Just know this.
I'm not saying we won't get into negativity. Obviously, the Sikhs are treated well in Pakistan. I was watching the live
But that is
coverage.
negativity, you know why, yeah? Because when you always say the Sikhs are treated good, I'm saying anyone come to Pakistan, any faith,
All right, let's not go
any
negative. We'll
creed,
do it another
you're treated well in Pakistan, and I guarantee you that. And if you feel you're threatened, contact someone like me or contact a friend that you know from here that's Pakistani, and I'm sure they will be more than
know-
happy to arrange one of their family members to, provide you
I'm
with
going to say
with
something
some
to the
kind of-
viewers. I think you should get me and Big Ards into schools, and we need to do this as a worldwide
Oh, man.
new teachers
I'm
going
too
into
much
school.
I'm too much of a hothead.
No, we can start busting up the little kids.
No, I'm
when they're
too much of
messing
a
about.
hothead. I'm too much of a hothead.
Smack, no, I'm like that as well. You smack them about a bit. You're not allowed to do that. I'm only joking. I'm joking.
But you
So
wanna wrap it up now?
we'll wrap it up here. And what we'll do next week, if you want to talk about Scythians, because obviously that kind of subject matter I'm not too
I'm
well
going to
informed about.
research up fully on that, the
I'll
times and
research
the
as
kingdom
well.
and everything like that.
And
then I'll let
what
you
you
know.
need, what I would like for either myself or you to do is to try and find somebody that has more knowledge on it long term, so we can bring them in and have a bit more.
Yeah,
of a
definitely.
fruitful discussion.
I think Saad, I might bring Saad in.
anyone, I don't
Remember
know
that Saad? That brother you met once, a very intelligent brother when me and you were having a conversation and I started speaking to that guy with the ponytail.
Because this leader is
You
not
know the guy you were speaking to today? Earlier when I come to you.
give me some news.
Oh, right, yeah.
Remember that day, that night when I was having a conversation with him and I brought Saad to you and you was having a conversation with Saad,
All
that
right.
Pakistani brother.
Yeah, so
He's very clued up.
whoever has an understanding of the Scythians, because obviously I've got to learn from scratch
I'm gonna
exactly who they
but
are.
even you go and do a bit of research. I'm gonna do
Yeah, I'm gonna do my
research fully on that, and I'll even if I have to write stuff, notes down and stuff, I'll bring it along
Yeah,
with me.
don't worry about that.
And
Even
we'll
do it. I mean, because
No,
a lot
but
of people say, "Oh, you're reading."
Yeah, I'll bring it. I'll bring it along with me. Some notes and
It's
that.
better to- it's better- let me say something to you.
So at least I can quote some real
What it
facts
is,
and
yeah,
figures.
what it is, there's a
I'll
lot
bring
of
it
there's a
down.
lot of people online here. There's bitching and whining that we got notes and stuff. Would you rather have accurate information or somebody just winging it? It's better to be accurate. If you're gonna look at something, otherwise we're winging
Now,
it and we're giving
today we're kind of
misinformation.
winging it, yeah. We're
Yeah,
giving
today,
today we're giving our own opinions and stuff like that, yeah. But what we're going to do next week is I'm going to actually, research. I'm going to bring notes and
bring as much as you want.
and then I'll state the facts that I know, and then we'll give our opinion after that.
These keyboard warriors always right now, Big Odds had a thing he was reading. Yeah, like, as long as you're reading something that's true, That's the main thing.
It's better than coming to the park and shouting the N-word.
All right, so let's leave it on a positive. I'm hoping one day we will get beyond atheism back into the fold. But can we let him just say one? Oh, no,
Yo, is the show done, yeah?
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
Yo, big up COE, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
big up
share and
COE.
subscribe the thing, you get me? Yo, big up, you
donate,
go.
donate.
I'm out, you know what I mean? Yeah, we'll see
A
you
lot of
next
stingy
week.
people on those comments. They don't donate anything, man. Anyway, big odds. Hey, give me that.
Alright, let me just say something to you, yeah?
Yeah.
So about this Scythian stuff, right, and the Indo-Aryan, you can do your research if you and Ardz want. But as far as I know, there's not a lot of evidence for Scythians.
Can you explain who Scythians are, though?
Yeah, so the Scythians basically, they were living in the steppes, so the region north of South Asia, and they were basically nomadic people. So in the steppe, the region north of South Asia, from the Pontic-Caspian steppe to almost into China, there's a big open grassland. It's open grassland. There's no trees, nothing. There's open grassland.
What would they look like? Did they look like Mongolians? Or?
So they basically look like Europeans, basically,
Europeans,
right?
right.
And the way they live is that they were very poor people, right? And they basically had a lot of horses, and they were like, but they didn't have any cities or anything, right? So they were quite poor.
Nomadic.
They're nomadic, right? And but they were quite poor and they lived over all of that region. But after some time, they kind of disappeared. Now with the Scythians, there's many different people that we call Scythians, many different tribes of Scythians. And for sure, they had an effect on South Asia, but I would imagine that there was too few of them to have a big effect. Now,
but how would someone prove they're from Scythian stock?
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't really prove it. There's nothing really. The thing is that there's two things here. There's the Indo-Aryan migration, and then there's Scythians, right? They're two different people. Now you're kind of confusing the two. And when you speak, you're saying that
the migration theory happened before, and the Scythians came later.
Yeah, but they're very close. Only about 1,000 years.
1,000 years is still a long time. So you're looking at the.
But the problem is, that the Jats, okay, who you say that you're descended from Scythians.
I've never said that.
People say like you say you're descended from Scythians.
I didn't say that. I'm not saying it.
Okay, Big Ardz said that. Okay, but
I don't know enough about Scythians.
Many Jats or people say they're descended from Scythians. Okay, and then they'll say that the Brahmins are descended from the Aryans. Problem is that the Brahmins and the Jats got very similar DNA, like very similar. So it's difficult to have two different.
I don't personally think we can ever prove now who those people were of those times, because everyone is intermingled so much that your DNA is just pretty much a mesh of everything. Would you agree with that? That it's going to be very difficult to pinpoint well, that person was from that area, that person was from that area, Central Asia, from that area, and then migrated at that time.
No, what I'm saying is that there's very little evidence of significant gene flow into South Asia from the Scythians and from the Aryans as well.
So just about 1500 BC or 3,500 years ago is the Aryan migration theory or Aryan invasion theory. And the Scythians didn't really come until Alexander the Great.
No, before Alexander the Great.
Maybe like 500 BC.
Yeah, something like that, maybe before. Right. But the other thing you mentioned, that the Scythians would have had a very small population, okay, and the Punjab's obviously got a big population. So it just, you know, all these Pakistanis, like the Northern, they say that, you know, we're descended from these people that came from outside, but it doesn't make it. I mean, look, you can just be yourself, You don't have to be sent from no one, like, because obviously evolution, right? People will change, innit?
Big Ardz, I'm gonna have to stop this conversation because I think Big Ardz is gonna be watching this after.
Yeah, okay, let's do
what
it,
we'll
man.
do,
Let's finish it.
Look, can I just say something here?
I don't know, man. Whatever.
Can I say something? I think you're a good addition to it, but obviously we've got to resolve things between you lot.
No, I'm not going to talk to Big Ardz anymore, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, remember when we first met me and Big Ardz? Remember that? Have you seen the video? It was like full on crazy.
Oh, is it?
You followed me outside the park.
Oh, I remember that.
So you can see now we get on. He's just a hot character. That's the way he is. He doesn't mean anything by it. He's just a bit of a hot.
The thing I was going to say about Big Ardz, and you, Raj, talking to these, like, you're deliberately like pulling out these people to have a discussion with them, Now the problem is that a lot of them have got very biased views. Because they're Muslims, they've got very biased, they want to be connected to Persia, to Afghanistan, and to be honest, most Muslims don't know about this topic, okay? Because they're not interested in it. They're interested in Arabic history.
I know, let's not
you know
talk
what I'm
about
saying? No, but it's true. Now listen, if
Yeah.
you're talking to people, 100 people are going to watch it, You don't want to misinform them, right? You don't want to have someone, who doesn't know the topic, okay, and who's not educated and has learned about it.
The whole point of this particular discussion
I know what you're saying, but it's dangerous, though, isn't it?
But the whole point of it is for us to slowly talk about topics that I don't want to talk about, and then he will talk about it. So there are certain parts of Indian history that I'm not really interested in, like Scythians, but I will listen to it because he's interested in it, and vice versa. Yeah, so before that's why we're not going to Islam. I understand what you're saying, and not like when I spoke about the Rig Vedas and the Mahabharata and the Sanskrit. A lot of Muslims don't want to know about it because it's pre-Islam and it's seen as pagan. But it's such an important part of Indian history, though.
Now the thing that you said to Big Ardz, yeah, or to your brother, yeah, is that you go to him that the Urdu is descended from Sanskrit, yeah, which is absolutely correct, okay, in the sense that it makes sense to say that. That's the most obvious kind of thing, right? And he just said to you, no, it's not true.
Yeah, but
so exactly, it is. So you can't be misinforming people like that.
Urdu is not that different from Punjabi.
Yeah, all these languages are descended from Sanskrit.
Obviously, the actual written word, the actual written alphabet is more Arabic, but the actual language is derived from Sanskrit.
Yeah, it's derived from Sanskrit. The whole grammar is from Sanskrit. It's very similar to, quite similar to Sanskrit. Many words are the same. Obviously, there's words from Persia, many Persian words. Persian also similar to Old Persian, similar to Sanskrit as well.
I mean, we could have a conversation next week or something about the Aryan invasion theory without Big Ardz if you want, but a separate kind of like
a separate one, quiet one.
Where it's more about like us just talking about this between me and Big Ardz. It's more of a kind of
that's fine.
Our little vehicle of what we're
going to do. You guys can do it. Yeah.
Anyway, man,
sure.
sorry about that. No worries, I did try and I didn't.
That's okay, man. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, thanks a lot, Sam. Are you gonna go now?
The camera's still running, innit?
It's still running here. What are you doing?
Come, you ready for the chocolate?
Oh, we're not doing that today, man. You're mad. I'm doing that.
You're not ready for the chocolate
We'll
seat?
do it next week.
Raz, man, let me just tell you why you're a chocolate seat, man.
Because then I'm gonna have to lay into you.
You can, innit?
No, I don't want to go negativity today.
But it's a banter, you know with me, it's not a
I
banter.
know, but let's keep it 2 weeks.
You know why I done that to your boy? 'Cause you was disrespectful, man.
Let me say something. Let's keep
you're
2.
older than me, why you calling me party for?
I'm trying to keep it for 2 weeks at least. I can show PC Barnes not aggro. Let me go.
Why don't you have that discussion but off camera?
No, we'll do it on camera because he's gonna call me a chocolate seek. I'm gonna.
No, but we'll get bare people watching that. It'll be jokes.
We'll do it next
That'll
week.
be nice.
Keep it civil, yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Come on, fam, bro. Listen, I'm not idiot. I'm not gonna assault no one. But
Hey,
verbally,
I
I'm not
should
gonna
bring
assault
Behaviour
you.
here.
Who's that?
Our little beyond atheism.
What happened to your boy? Your boy got hotted. He's a kafir. Your boy's a kafir. I know that beyond atheism is a full-on kafir, yeah? We only salute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We only bow down to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody else. No midget man like that can come and tell man. Yeah? La ilaha illallah wa Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, fuck him too.
Oh, big up. Adrian Charge. I'm gonna check. We're done. We'll do that next week though.
Yeah, why not? Oh, that speaker's quality.
Content over everything. From your melody. Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
That's a nice little chat with Samsy as well.
Yeah, Samsy's a good brother to deal with.
Well, let me say, I said to him that the only person that knew how to defeat me on my little thing, guess how he beat me? Shamsi. He walked in and he didn't even look in my direction. What happens is people here, they don't understand that when you're looking and you're coming over to me, all you're doing here is feeding into me and I'm winning. He knew the way to defeat me is just to walk past.